Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a 1996 Nissan 180SX. This one here with the SR20 engine. This is a Type S, which is kind of like the Type X, but fewer turbos. In fact, one fewer turbo. Now this one here was bought from auction here in Japan. We're going to be exporting this over to the USA under the 25-year rule. It's a nice, solid car. A few things here and there. Mechanically very good. Just over 100,000 kilometers. And so nice low mileage, straight body, decent condition. I think a pretty good purchase here. Okay, so I don't know exactly how much power you get out of these. This is the Koki version, so the final version of the 180. They made these from 88 up until 97 or 98 or so. And so this is the final model. It has, I think, around 140 to 145 horsepower, I would think. But a different personality than the North American ones, which came with the 2.4 liter in single cam or twin cam. That's a faster engine than this would be, but this one is a more sporty engine than that one is. And so it is a little bit of a different character. It'll also be a little bit lighter. And no matter what engine it is, it's nice to find a nice, clean 180SX. These S13s are getting quite difficult to find these days. It's good to see it. Now, a few things I got to mention in here, so I'll just leave this open for now, but here's the auction inspection sheet, and I'll translate this for you. It's a 1996, it's a late 1996, made in September, 180SX Type S, 5-speed manual, of course, 2000cc, auction rate 4, interior C with power steering, power windows, also power folding mirrors. It's original, they said it's color changed to silver, but they don't know the original. I think it's pretty easy to guess what the original color was, because you can see it in the engine room. Okay, and the report here says the left side power folding mirror doesn't work. For me, it worked, so it might be an intermittent thing. Aftermarket shift knob, not a favorite shift knob. Actually, we can have a quick little look at it through there. Not my favorite design. Okay, aftermarket steering wheel, interior's dirty. Aftermarket wheels are scratched. They're kind of a cheaper aftermarket wheel too. Underside scratched, dented, surface rust, and painted. It's pretty good looking, considering the age of the car. I think that's, I'd be pretty happy with it. Exterior paint is uneven. This is something, if it were my car, I'd be a little bit concerned about, but I know not everybody feels that way. The exterior has been repainted. It's glossy. It looks great. You go and nitpick about the paint, you're going to see a lot of wave. And so here it looks good. You look at it down the side, and you're going to see quite a bit of waves. So have a look here. See that? And so it depends on how picky you are with paint. For the most part, a fresh paint that is glossy is going to be something that most people appreciate, even if it is wavy. Because if this were original paint, chances are it would be quite flat, peeling, that sort of thing. So compromise. And then very scratches and dents. W3 is bad paint. It's pretty much everywhere in the car. But they said particularly over there. I didn't really notice anything, but maybe I just overlooked it. Let's have a quick look at this door. And yeah, it is wavy. And I'm seeing like a dent back here. There are a couple of dents. I think what they did was they mistook the dents for wave. There are 2 dents on that side, and I did point those out in an earlier video that comes together in the video and picture package. So this is AU3 over here, which is a large scratch and dent, and I'll show you that in a second as well. Now back to the engine room. This is an auction grade 4. It means it hasn't been in a car accident, but there are a few things that are a little bit suspect that maybe weren't picked up as much on the auction inspection sheet. So for one, this section here has been painted with a textured paint. There's some chance that there was some rust there that was sanded down and repainted. You can see the overspray of the spackle paint or whatever they used on there. And same thing goes over here. Now, we really wouldn't be able to tell other than visually guess what it looked like previously. It doesn't look like there's any problems. This isn't like aluminum tape and then paint over. Seems to be pretty solid in there. Same thing goes with the other side. And then up here, look at this. This bracket here on the bumper. Looks like it's been mangled. Same thing goes with this bracket section on the bumper here. and this bracket section on the bumper here. And it's been painted with that spackle paint. Kind of weird, right? But then you look at the parts that are attached to the car, this part here, and this part here is the bumper stay. That's what they call it in Japanese. I don't know what it's called in English, the bumper bracket piece. The car version of it's fine. It's just the part that's attached to the bumper that's not fine. And so this bumper has probably been in an accident while the car hasn't. There's no signs of any wrinkling or replaced sections in the front cross member there. Now in the back there's also something that's kind of similar. I'll show you that when we get back there, providing I remember. We're shooting these in one take, so no rust or anything around here, which is good. Adjustable upper mounts for the suspension. Strut tower brace. For those who don't know the strut tower brace, because, you know, people watch these videos in all sorts of levels of experience with cars. A strut tower brace means that your two suspension mounts are going to flex less when you go around corners. A lot of people don't realize, but the whole chassis is like a big spring. It's all made out of metal, but so are springs, right? So the chassis is going to move around a little bit, and this secures your front wheels a little bit, making less flex, and that allows them to do their function of gripping the road a little bit better as a result. So it does improve your cornering and your feel while driving to have a strut tower brace like that. Okay, little Japanese battery with the tiny terminals. It's kind of fun. And coolant, probably want to change that. Oil, probably want to change that. Both of them look like it's past the time that it's supposed to be changed. Okay, let's go ahead and close the hood here. And tisk Nissan, giving the aluminum hood only to the GTR. That's a heavy steel hood. Quick look at the car, and you get that, what they call the Type X bumper. And it's just basically the Koki model. And so it is slightly different and more aggressive and has these cool little vents on the side. And then, of course, pop-up headlights. And the pop-ups work. And my God, I love cars that have pop-up headlights. I mean, it is cool to have a car that has converted their pop-up headlights into, I don't know what you would call those, housings? Headlight housings. I don't think that I've ever seen one on the 180SX that quite looks right. I would always prefer pop-up headlights on this car. Okay, so looking at damages. Front bumper, generally good. Hood, good. Both sides, fairly good. There is some damage on that side over there. I'll just go down here and show you. The fenders slightly rolled in the front. And then aftermarket suspension. Not rolled in the rear. And then we have a little section here that... Let's see if I can see that again. Oh, maybe not. I thought there was like a little section of dent, but again, it might be the wave. So wavy, there it is. Wavy paint can sometimes be like a dent because it's like not completely smooth. Okay, the nice double circle taillights that you got in the final model. Looks great. This is a stock exhaust, which is weird to see on an S13. Most of the ones that you buy from auction here are going to have aftermarket exhaust already. The exhaust is one of the most common modifications for people. That's nothing. Okay. So this section of the window gasket has peeled. You can see the, like that. A little bit of this one here going up. And then the front one as well. Here and all across. Makes the car look a lot worse. Otherwise, it's a pretty smart looking car. Some really tiny cracks in here. Okay. It looks like there's a little bit of a split here because the gasket's not lining up properly. Weird. And a bit of fade here. Now the biggest body damage would be right here. This is the AU3 that they were talking about. So pay attention to this. If you're looking to buy cars, then you're going to want to know what an AU3 is. So it's a level 3 scratch and a level 3 dent, and it's 3 out of 3. So this is theoretically the biggest damage that you can get. So you can see a dented section here. There's a dent up here and some scratches that go there, here, all the way to the end, and across here. And I'll give you another look from this angle. Okay, and this side actually has one more dent if I recall. Just make sure that I get this. I just had it in my mind that there's two. Oh yeah, okay, right here. And this one was not mentioned in the auction sheet. And so that does happen from time to time. We also have a slightly different colored door. I don't know how this happens. Maybe that's the W3 that they're talking about. W3 absolutely can be a color mismatch. So a slightly different color for the door. And I'll pull back over here so that you can see it all from one angle. See, the door is a little bit darker than the rest is. Okay. Quick look at the wheel in case you're interested in a cheap aftermarket wheel, and it's 215s on there. The tires are, I believe, 4 years old, or maybe there was no. I shot a few cars today, so maybe I'm just confusing this with another car. But the tires in the front are worn out only on the outside of the tire, which means they were doing some sporty driving, and they're a DZ101, which is a decent summer tire, but the treads are half of there. Gonna need some new tires pretty soon. Okay, I'm not going into the interior here. I'm sorry to make you sniff my sniffles. Hear my sniffles. Look at this. The keychain is a brake disc on the key holder. That is incredible. I've never seen that before. Okay, I wanted to show you the trunk. And the trunk dampers work, but they don't work that well. So you still have to push this up a little bit, and it's going to sag and hit you potentially. Okay, take a look at this. I think this trunk has been in an accident. And the reason I say that is because there's like areas that body filler has been used there and here and on the other side. Here and there. Yep, and they will fall down. The trunk opens and closes fine, other than those dampers. But there is those marks. And then if you look down in here, I don't see any damages from an accident. So I think this trunk was on a different car. Remember, this car used to be white. And then I think this trunk came from another silver one. Not too sure the entire story, but do keep that in mind. Color change cars will often have a little bit more history. And so when you get good at purchasing, you'll consider things like this. A little bit of a bigger risk to do a color change car. It's not always so bad. You will typically save a little bit of money on one. That doesn't connect anymore. It's broken off. This one on this side does. And then some fade at the top of that seat, because that seat is right underneath the glass where the sun can come and damage it easily. Rear wiper, by the way, has been removed, leaving just the stem there. Okay, door cards are good. The one on the passenger side is a little bit loose. Oh, driver's side too. So this, see, that comes out a little bit. So the fabric becomes a little bit loose over time. It's honestly not too bad. Okay, people call these the Type X seat. They say 180SX all the way down. Fantastic seats, and people in North America never got these seats. And so they are that unobtainable, super expensive seat. You're seeing them more now because imports are coming in, but they're still fairly rare in good condition, and these ones appear to be in really good condition. So that's a huge win. It used to be you would have to ship them from Japan, and heavy, big objects like this are very expensive to ship. It would almost cost you as much to ship those seats as it cost to ship the whole car. But back when cars couldn't be imported, because these ones weren't 25 years old yet, you would have to ship them by container. And that was during a time that the internet wasn't as powerful as it is now. You know, where do you get somebody to ship you some seats from Japan? Okay, so whoever owned this previously must have been a short dude, because he has extended on top of the extender. There's a quick release. It's really goofy driving it. I would recommend getting that changed, especially since it's a stock seat. Sometimes you'll see the super extender on a bucket seat that's super low to the ground. Excuse me. But in this case, they just wanted the steering wheel really close to them. So maybe a Tyrannosaurus Rex was driving the car. This is cool. These floor mats, Nissan Prince Fukuoka Auto Sales. So it's a dealer, like a Nissan dealer's original floor mat. And Nissan used to do this with a bunch of their dealers. Would have their own plaqued version of the floor mats that you could install into the cars. Very cool. Okay, and the dashboard, an S13 dashboard with no cracks. Another huge win. Take a look. They often will crack down here or split like a fork pretty nasty. This one looks good. Okay, has a little bit of damage on this section here. Has the original tape deck and CD player, but I believe the CD player, it's like a multi-disc one that's supposed to be in the trunk, but I didn't see it in there. Shift knob, yeah, I don't like it at all. Spin turn knob here, meaning that when you click it down, then you can yank this without it locking, and then you flick it up with your thumb to lock it. It's a drift thing. Vehicle's been smoked in before. I found a minor cigarette burn right here, and another one over here, but nothing too bad, and the interior doesn't smell bad. Did I show the back seats? They're looking pretty good. I think I did. I don't know. I think I've probably shot like 2,000 of these videos, which doesn't sound like an awful lot, but 2,000 times an hour for each report with all the pictures and videos it comes with. That's a lot of my life that I've spent on this. Okay, so that's going to be all for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm just thinking now. This is just the end, so anyone who's still watching at this point, this is a little bonus for you. These brakes are from the Skyline, the GTST R33s. I don't think these ever got them, these S13s. There's a 5-bolt pattern here, which I believe that the later model versions of the S13s, someone in the comments let me know, but I think the S13s had the 5-bolt in the final versions of them. And then the S14 got them 5-bolt, unless it was the non-turbo got the 4-bolt maybe? I don't know. Somebody there has an encyclopedia brain about the way that works, but I think it might have upgraded hubs and brakes from the GTST Type M, because it's the monoblock style calipers. Okay, that's all for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a nice day.